All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brett, and this is the Christian Rebel. I hope all of you are having a great day. So let's dive in. You've probably seen those clips all over social media. They pop up, and maybe you heard them on a podcast. It's always an intense, chilling testimony from someone who is a former high-ranking member of the Satanic Church. They talk about secret rituals, demonic curses, and then they give a stark warning about a holiday your family might be celebrating this coming October 31st. These stories are very powerful, and it asks us to ask that very serious question: should Christians be celebrating Halloween? Today we're going to listen to these warnings and examine those claims. We will look at the history, the theology, and the facts to understand what Halloween truly is and why it is something that Christians should avoid. The narrative is often the same. It is a chilling one. A recent testimony that went viral is from Rian Zweigelaar, who co-founded the South African Satanic Church and then converted to Christianity in 2022. His warnings are specific and dire. In an interview with CBN News, Zweigelaar revealed the truth about this holiday. So we're going to listen to that little clip, and I'll talk about it afterwards.
Rian Swigular, you are a former leader in the Church of Satan, and you are now sounding the alarm about the demonic realities of Halloween. Can you peel back the curtain for us?
Absolutely. Thank you first and foremost for having me on the show. It's really an honor to be here. I think a good place to start is that so many people have no idea, the significance of Halloween and what it means to celebrate Halloween. And I think it's also largely due to it has become part of popular culture without many people really thinking about what it represents. And I think what's even more concerning is that there's even Christians who are celebrating Halloween. Now, there's so many things to say here, but I think an important thing to say to start with is that Anton LaVey, who was the original founder of the Church of Satan in the States in the late 60s, he had a very well-known quote where he said, "It makes him so happy to see that Christians are allowing their children to celebrate the devil one night of the year."
Did you hear that quote? I'd never heard that quote before. And unfortunately, I let my kids celebrate Halloween because I thought it was harmless. And you know what? If I could change that, I would go back and say, nope, we're not celebrating Halloween. It's a night for the devil. And yeah, but I never heard that quote before.
And what we are doing, if we are celebrating Halloween as Christians, you are actually having a one-night stand with the devil. That's a simple way to put that. But everything about Halloween and what it represents, and it's all about death. So first and foremost in that context, but if we take it to the satanic context and why it's such an important day on the satanic calendar, and also the fact that it is the day of the year where there's the most human sacrifice around the planet, and quite often in or during Halloween, All Hallows Eve that evening, is also when people climb the ranks in the occult and in Satanism by practicing and by doing certain things. So we have an atmosphere, a spiritual atmosphere of the celebration of death and the revels of death. And we know that the enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy. And the devil has never changed his modus operandi, as the word teaches us. But we can definitely see that in the last few years, it's like the enemy is roaring more loudly.
And he is seeking whom he can devour. He is roaming the world, seeking whom he can devour. And maybe he's using Halloween to get to our children. Just a thought.
And it is because people have become despondent, people have been desensitized through the media and through various things about the occult and the realities of Satanism and things that's going around in the world globally. Therefore, a very easy way to desensitize children to things like death and demons and gargoyles and you name it is something like Halloween. And then furthermore, if we think of a neighborhood or an area where there is a few homes that is celebrating Halloween, that whole perimeter becomes a satanic ritual by definition. So it is like a hot spot for demonic activity. And you are opening doors to the dark side of the spirit world when you are doing those things and engaging in those celebrations.
I have so
Wow. That's interesting. He stated, which makes a lot of sense, it's a high day on the satanic calendar. And I didn't know there were still human sacrifices. Wow. He also warned that when Christians participate, they are having a one night stand with the devil. And he explains that when a whole neighborhood gets into it, all the decorations and pumpkins combined to create maybe one big satanic ritual, and we're allowing our kids to take part of that. The message to me is crystal clear. If you join in on Halloween, even with what seems like harmless fun, you are knowingly part of a satanic celebration and opening a spiritual door to the enemy. Is that happening to us as Christians? Are we opening that door? To me, this is terrifying reality, and we must take this serious. Let's start digging into the history of Halloween. A dark picture emerges that confirms those warnings. The stories from ex-Satanists who have come to Christ, like Rion Zweigelaar, serve as a vital wake-up call to the church about the spiritual realities behind this day. So what about the holiday itself? Is it satanic? Historians trace Halloween's origins to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts believed that on October 31st, the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead was at its thinnest, letting spirits pass through. They would light huge bonfires and wear costumes which were originally made of animal skins to engage with and ward off spirits. It was a deeply pagan festival, centered on spiritism and darkness as the world shifted into winter, and its roots are antithetical to the Christian faith. And the other claim that Halloween is the most important holiday for Satanists, while some Satanists may claim that their own birthday is their highest holiday, they openly acknowledge and celebrate Halloween. The Church of Satan's own website admits that is a time when mainstream culture flirts with the darkness they embrace, making it a major seasonal event for them. But what does the Bible say? Now let's get into the Bible verses that are often brought up, and rightly so. Ephesians 5:11 commands us to have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. And in 1 Corinthians 10:21 gives us a serious warning. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of a demon. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and a table of demons. Are we doing that as Christians when we celebrate Halloween? These are powerful, non-negotiable scriptures for every Christian. The Bible is very clear that believers must avoid practices that are directly tied to things like witchcraft, idolatry, or demonic worship. While the Bible never once mentions the word Halloween, the principles are very undeniable. The argument that celebrating Halloween gives demons a legal right to enter your life is a serious theological warning. Wow, I never thought about that. Are we opening that door, giving demons around us a legal right when we celebrate Halloween? To ignore is to be naive about the spiritual battle we are in. The real question isn't whether a demon can possess your candy corn, but whether your participation as a holiday so deep in darkness honors God or connects you to something that the Bible explicitly forbids. Are we celebrating something that we shouldn't, Christians? It is all worth pointing out the widely circulated quote from the founder of the Church of Satan. He mentioned this in the video, Anton LaVey, who thanked Christian parents for letting their kids worship the devil for one night. He understood that participation, no matter how innocent it seems, is a form of acknowledgement and celebration of his master's domain. So what should a Christian do? Given all these facts, how should a Christian approach October 31st? You know, October 31st was also Reformation Day when Martin Luther nailed his thesis to the Wittenberg castle. Maybe we should celebrate that. First off, we must operate from a place of biblical wisdom, not from a fear of missing out. The warnings from former Satanists are not panic. They are testimonies of those who have seen the darkness firsthand and now trying to warn the church. For Christians, the holiday's ancient pagan roots and all the modern focus on darkness, death, and gore are more than enough reason to abstain completely. We must choose to follow passages like First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22, which tells believers to abstain from all appearance of evil. Instead of trick or treating, we should use the night for worship, prayer, or family time, intentionally setting ourselves apart from the event. Now, here's another question. Maybe we could hand out when a child and their family member, their parent comes to the door. Maybe we should hand out a Bible tract with the piece of candy and share the gospel with them. Some Christians attempt to redeem the day with full festivals or trunk or treat events, but we must ask: are we offering a real alternative, or are we just creating a Christian version of a demonic holiday? You cannot Christianize what is inherently pagan by trying to engage with the holiday on its own terms. We risk compromising our witness and confusing the clear line between light and darkness. The command in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31, to do it all for the glory of God means we cannot lend his glory to a day that celebrates that very things he condemns. As I said before, maybe we could use that day as a way of witnessing. I don't agree with trunk or treats or anything like that, but when a child comes to your door with their parent, we can give them a track and say, do you know Jesus? Share the gospel with them. Ultimately, the decision to participate in Halloween is a test of obedience. The Bible gives clear principles in its decision each believer and family must make before God with a clear understanding of the spiritual dangers. So instead of sharing memes that make light of the darkness, let's share this warning. Talk with your pastor, your small group, and your family, and examine the scriptures. Consider the holidays' history and pray about how you can be a true light in your community by rejecting the darkness of this day. If this warning has been helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and share with everyone you know. In a world that is so full of compromise, helping our fellow believers best informed, faith-filled decisions is one of the best things we can do. And if you want more content that tackles tough questions with biblical clarity, please subscribe. These dramatic tales from ex-Satanists are compelling because they are true stories, and they stand up to factual biblical scrutiny. Halloween isn't a simple holiday. It has a dark and complicated history that is completely at odds with Christian faith. As Christians, our calling is to be wise, to be discerning, and to not be conformed to the pattern of this world. Romans 12:2. This means we must avoid Halloween entirely, using it as an opportunity to show the world that we serve a God of light, life, and truth, guided by the Holy Spirit and a clear understanding of his word. All right, guys, I love you guys. I'm praying for you. Always choose that narrow path. Be a rebel and follow Jesus. And until next time, you know what to do. Always keep the faith.